Good morning, everyone. Today, this is part 2 of my playlist on using the HDMI switcher. This is the product, and I had to go through about a week to 10 days trials and tribulations with it, and as promised, I told you how exactly I got it to work. If you're interested in how this $25 device can make your life making videos a lot easier, you're at the right video, and we'll be back right after this. Okay, in video 1, I explained to you how I wanted to use this product to make my life easier shooting videos, and how I intended to use it, and it didn't quite work out the way I thought it would. Okay, so if you haven't watched the first video, I'll put a link right up here in the card. And if you want, you can click that, you can pause this video, watch it, and then come back and finish with this video. Okay, but this is the video, and now I'm going to go to the playlist and show you exactly how these 3 videos run. Okay, video number 1 was my camera switching setup with XSPLIT, explanation and setup. This is how I wanted to use it. Okay. Video 2, which is this video right here, and I'll leave the link to video 1, and when I'm done with the 3rd video also, that will be appearing below. This is how I'm going to show you how I got it to work, what I had to do, and how it made my life a whole lot easier. Okay? And then, of course, video 3, which is the next video in this series, is how you can use this same exact setup for gaming and save yourself a lot of money over these other video gaming capture devices. Okay, so let's go back here, and as a result of my first video, if you remember, I said that this product was probably the best thing since sliced bread. Well, then I had problems hooking it up, which we'll get into in a minute and show you how I overcame those. So it went from the best thing since sliced bread to, I don't know what, chopped liver. Okay, well, we'll see if we can improve on that grade. Okay, first up is this is the product here on Amazon, and you can see it's $21.80. You can't see that. There it is, $21.82. The price has gone down some. This was $25. So let me run up here, and I want to go through some of the features of this product with you so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. The first feature is this is a 4 inputs, 1 output. If you're using this to control your video cameras with, this is the setup you need. There are other products on the market that are the exact opposite of this. 1 input, 4 outputs. The only thing I can think of where that might be useful for is if I was teaching a computer course and I had 4 students and I wanted to share my desktop with all 4 students. That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. What we're trying to accomplish is we want to be able to put 4 different cameras on my screen at the touch of that remote right there. Okay. Next thing, this has the ability to shoot up to 4K at a full 60 cycles per second, 60 frames per second, also known as 60 hertz. Okay, it has HDMI 2.0, which is the, I don't know how well you can see that, the full-size HDMI cables that you're all familiar with. Okay, so all the inputs, all the outputs of this box are the full-size HDMI cables that you probably already have for every game, every DVD player, every CD, every Blu-ray player, every camcorder, every camera, everything you have should have those. This also has the ability to broadcast in 3D at 1080p. I don't know anybody that's making 3D pictures, but it has the ability to do it. Okay, the remote, you see it has an on-off button, and it has the inputs numbered 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. Okay, I can go directly from 1 to 4, from 1 to 3 to 4 to 2, however I want. Okay, or I can use the down button to go, if I'm on 1, I can go down to 2, 3 to 4. Okay, I can use the up button to bring me back the opposite way, 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. Okay, and then this is the product itself. It's a 4-port HDR, high definition, HDMI switcher. This is full-size HDMI. It has the ability to do 4K at 60 hertz. It's infrared, that's for the remote control here. And it's an auto switch, okay? Meaning all I have to do is press the button and that's it. I don't have to press any physical buttons on the unit. So this unit can be put back out of the way, off the desktop, can be hung on a wall, can be hung on the back of your desk, as long as the infrared remote is able to hit it. Okay, now we just talked about a lot of things there. Well, let me go back there just for 1 second. Here, I wanted to show you this picture of it. Okay, this is not one unit, this is 2 units, one on top of the other here, so you can see the difference, okay, front and back. Okay, you can see here's your 5-volt DC input, and then HDMI in 1, 2, 3, and 4, and on the side here is the HDMI output to your computer. On the front of the unit is 5 green lights telling you the output is working, and this is either input 4, 3, 2, 1. This is the infrared eye for the remote control. This is your little red LED that shows you that the unit is working. And of course you have an on-off switch. And what you get in the package is the, this is the packaging. You get the unit itself. You get a power supply, a US power supply for it, unless you order it in the UK or EU, and then you'll get the appropriate power supply for it. You get the remote and then an instruction manual. Okay. So, now remember, we had talked about a lot of things here. We talked about 3D format, 4K, HDR, okay? And I wanted to show you quickly, is by way of a side note, this has nothing to do with the product, just so you can wrap your mind around it, on these screen sizes, okay? Now, if you notice in the very left-hand corner here, you have the 480p. That was the standard not too many years ago. for broadcasting on YouTube. Okay, the size of it was 640 wide by 480 height. Because remember, this is a 16:9, okay, ratio. Okay, they were trying to get away from the 4:3 regular television, the square television picture. Okay. Then it went up to 720p HD. Now it could be called HD. Okay. And you notice the size of it is 1280 wide from side to side. Okay. And 720 high from top to bottom. So that's 720p. The one I'm sure you're all familiar with, the next one here, is the 1080p. Full HD, they call it. Okay. That size was from side to side, from there to here to there, okay, was 1920 pixels. And from there to there, top to bottom, was 1080 pixels. So that's where they got the 1080p from. Well, now you notice they dropped the P designation, okay? 480p, 720p, 1080p. And the one thing they don't show you here would be a little bit larger than the 1080p would be the 2K. Everyone just disregarded that and went right from 1080p up to 4K. Okay. Now 4K is ultra high definition. No P in it anymore. Another thing they did is they switched the sizes. Okay. The large number now is the second number, not the first number. Remember, in 1080p, it was 1920 by 1080. 1920 is the large number. This now is reversed. Okay? This is 1380 wide, 3840 wide, excuse me, and 2160 high. Okay? They get the 4K now from the width, not the height, like they used to. And then, of course, the next generation here will be 8K, which will be 7680 wide and 4320 high. These are your big, huge monitors. We'll be talking 100-inch monitors here in your homes, okay, for anyone that can afford them. Of course, right now 4K is the big thing. Some videos are being shot in 4K on YouTube. I don't know why, okay, because it's getting to be that more and more of YouTube is received on cell phones. Okay, nobody's got a 4K cell phone, so you know, everything's still 1080p max. A lot of people are still shooting in 720p. So that was just a little side note to let you know the screen sizes and how they've changed. So now I'm sure you're all wondering how I got this little puppy to work. Okay, well, I'm going to go to a PowerPoint now, and it starts out with the last video's PowerPoint, and then I just changed it a little, and we'll go from there. Okay, it is there. Give me 1 1 second to set this up. There we go. Okay, this is the way that I was planning on using it. I was going to have the video out from my computer going to HDMI input 1, a DSLR, which I don't have yet. I was going to put into HDMI port 2, a 1080p camera, which I do have, a point and shoot camera that shoots 1080p. I was going to put in the HDMI 3, and my camcorder I was going to put in the HDMI 4, and then I could use the remote here to switch between 1, 2, 3, and 4, display it on my monitor, and under the mistaken impression that the screen capture was actually capturing the screen on my monitor, which I found out it wasn't. So I just redrew this a little bit. Okay, this and this are exactly the same. The only changes I made is I actually put in my computer here, and I want to show you I had that plugged into port 1, and the 1080p camera on 2, camcorder on 3, and the future DSL, like I told you, I don't have it yet. I wanted to plug that into 3. So this is the way I wanted to use it. Well, what I found out was that this XSPLIT screen capture is kind of a misnomer. Okay, it doesn't really capture what's on that screen. It captures what the computer says should be on that screen. Now, if I use this device to change what is showing on this screen, could either be my desktop or my 1080p camera, my camcorder, or this future DSLR that I want to buy. Okay, just because I use this to put a different picture on the screen, the computer is telling XSPLIT that my desktop is what should be on that screen. And I hooked it up this way, and it worked exactly perfect, except for 2 things. Number 1, I happened to find out that my 1080p camera, my point and shoot, which is my little Nikon Coolpix here, okay, it has an HDMI mini out, and I don't know if you can see that or not, and a USB out. The USB streams. Okay, I can go to a capture device and display that on my television through XSPLIT. Okay, the only problem is the capture device I had, which is this, was supposed to be a HD capture device. It wound up being a 480p capture device. So my camera's putting out, my camera's putting out 1080p into a 480p device, and XSPLIT is only recording it as 480p. So I figured that the HDMI output on here, here, would stream. Well, what I found out was the HDMI output on here is only to hook up to a TV and play the recordings, whether they be pictures or videos, in here on the TV. It is not a streaming device like a DSLR is nowadays. Okay, now I had bought this many years before I even got into YouTube, so that was just secondary. I mean, this thing takes great pictures. It has great battery life. I use it to shoot videos with all the time. Okay, the only difference is now I have to shoot the video and then download it to my computer, and then I can upload it to YouTube or whatever. Put it in my XSPLIT thing and use it as part of a video that I'm making. Okay. So, with now knowing that the screen capture with XSPLIT only records what the computer says should be on that monitor, okay, I don't need this cable anymore, so we're just going to get rid of it. Don't go anywhere with it. We're going to need it in a minute. Okay. I had to put in a new thing called a capture device. The one I use is a Hornatech 1080p 60 frames per second HDMI to USB 3.0 video game capture device. Don't worry about the word game there. Yes, it'll capture games. It'll capture any video that you throw its way. It doesn't have to just be games. It can be the videos from any of these. Okay. So I also needed that HDMI cable I just took off, okay, to hook up from the output of this device to the input of the capture device. Along with the capture device came a USB 3.0 cable, like it says right here, okay, that hooks up to the computer. Well, now you'd say, okay, well, now I can record all this stuff to the thing, but you notice there's nothing hooked up to my monitor. Okay? So, what we had to do is I had to remove this HDMI cable here from my monitor and plug it in from the HDMI out of the computer to the monitor rather than into port 1. I now plug it into the monitor, and that's the setup. Okay. Now, you see going this way now, regardless of what I switch into this capture device, it records it and sends it onto the computer. Okay? And the computer says, well, I should be putting on the display whatever this capture device is sending me. Boom, there it is. So this 1080p camera could be streaming. This camcorder could be a different one using a top-down. This future DSLR could be another, another angle, computer angle to help me in my video shooting. So now I wanted to show you the capture device I used. Okay. Oops, back here. Record your game at 60 frames per second. Game doesn't matter. Record anything at 60 frames a second. A camera, a DVD, a game. It doesn't matter. Anything. Record it. There. So, man, let me move my picture. Excuse me 1 second while I do this. All right, that's good. Okay, now, Hornatech HDMI capture device, video game recorder, see, video capture device, or video game recorder, either one, USB 3.0, 1080p 60 frames per second, and there's not that many game capture devices that'll operate at 1080p 60 frames a second for the price of this. Okay, video and audio grabber. Okay, you can see the price is $80 at Amazon. Now, how does this hook up? Okay, here's my HDMI source. You can see it could be a camcorder, could be a computer, could be a game, could be a DVD player, doesn't matter, whatever. Hooks up to this HDMI cable, runs through this full HD capture device, okay? Runs through another USB 3.0 cable to the computer, which is the recording device, and then from there to the monitor. Okay? The computer could also be a laptop. Doesn't matter. This is the thing. All there is one HDMI in and one USB 3.0 to the computer. How simple can you get? This is metal. Okay? It only has to be hooked up once. This does not have to be in display of you. It does not have to be on your desktop. It could be laying on the floor behind your computer for all you care. You only have to hook it up once. There is no power supplied to this unit. It gets the power off the USB. Okay, this is another picture of it here. There's the full-size HDMI in. The crazy, I think it's USB-B type plug there, and of course another picture of it. So that's what I had to do for it. So now I'm going to show you exactly how I hook this up. Then I'm going to pause the tape, hook it up for you, come back, okay, and show you the different things that it puts on the screen. Okay, fair enough? And if that's not a good teaser, I don't know what is. Okay, so first we're going to start with the switcher itself. This top-down camera, I've been having a little problems with the autofocus, so I'll apologize in advance if things are out of focus a little bit. Now, most of you have seen this from the first video, so I'm just going to real quickly run through it. There's instructions, okay. Here's the unit itself. There's the front of the unit, and there's the rear of the unit, and of course on the side is the HDMI out. You have a power supply for the unit, standard 120 volt US. It is a dual voltage, so it'll go 120 to 240. So if you want to use this with an adapter in Europe, you can. And last but not least, get rid of this stuff. You have the remote, and of course the battery. I guess it goes this way. Whoops, excuse me. Battery goes in there like that. Okay, and then we squeeze it, and having all kinds of problems with this. Oh, there. No wonder. Duh. There we go. Okay. There is, it's infrared. So you see there is no light on it. Okay. Let's make sure that battery was put in the correct way. And it's got a little troubleshooting section here, and it shows you how to hook it up. You know, any HDMI in and anything to your computer, the 3.0 cable to your computer. Okay. So that's that. I'll set this off to the side. Next up is the HDMI to US 3.0 video capture device. Okay, that comes with a instruction book telling you different ways of hooking this up, depending on whether you got a Mac or a PC. Okay. Then we have the actual device itself. You see how small that is? Okay. All there is there's a HDMI in and a USB out. That's it. And of course, they give you the USB 3.0 cable with their end on it here. That only plugs in one way. But as you can see, this cable is, I think it's less than 3 feet long. So if you're planning on having this device more than 3 feet from your computer, you're going to have to buy a longer, these are standard cables, even though it's got the funny end on it. Like I said, I think it's a USB-B type end. This is a USB-A. You can buy these in different lengths, up to 15 feet or so. I have a link in the description below for all these items, for the 4-port HDMI switcher, for the capture device, for longer cables, okay. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the recording, and when I'm going to set it all up, and when I come back, I'll show you how it works. Oh, before that, let me do this. Screen, top down, screen with camera, and medley, full screen. Okay, okay, I'm back. Got everything hooked up, and everything's working fine. Now, the only input that I had that was HDMI, a true HDMI streaming device, was my camcorder. So I hooked that up on input 1, and I have nothing on 2, 3, and 4. Those are reserved for later. Okay. And let me show you how it works. So there I am. Hi, how are you? See? That's live. Now, of course, if I go to another channel here now, like channel 2, for instance, you notice the picture there just froze. Okay, there's no input on channel 2. This is the last thing it recorded, and so this will stay here. So now I'm going to go back to channel 1, okay, and you can see how long this takes to switch. 1 is on, 2, 3, 4. There it is, live again. Okay. So we have about a 4-second delay, 3-second delay, 4-second delay, whatever. But it is working. It's working correctly. So now I want to go back to the PowerPoint and finish up that with you. And then we'll wrap this puppy up. Okay. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Okay, we did all this. And we removed that and added the cable there. Now this is exactly the way I have it. Okay. So, and as you can see, my screen, okay, I can still use my monitor. Okay. So, which was the major thing. I had to be able to use my monitor plus all these other devices that I wanted to use. Okay, so let's see. Let me run forward on this. Okay, this was the final setup. Now the last thing I want to talk to you about is what they advertise this for, of course, is a multiple television hookup. So this is the thing. Now this is not a monitor here now. This is an HD TV. Okay, smart TV, whatever. But it's at least 720p. It could be 1080p. It could be 4K. Okay? But it's all HD. Okay? You have your 4 inputs down here, connected with HDMI cables to the 4 ports on the switcher. Now, using this setup for a television, you don't need any capture device. You don't need any computer. You don't need any monitor. You don't need any extra HDMI and USB 3.0 cables. Okay? Well, I shouldn't say that. You might need this one. Okay? And I'm sure if you have any number of electronic devices laying around at home, you have a spare HDMI cable, believe me. All of these HDMI cables will come with the individual devices that you want to hook up with it. Or at least they should. So in this case, I could have cable or satellite on channel 1, depending on whether you have cable or satellite. If you have cable and satellite, okay, put cable on 1, satellite on 2, okay? Or we can hook up a DVD player, a camcorder, a game console. You can hook up your Xbox 360 on this. Now you can switch back and forth between cable, your DVD player, camcorder, game console, using the remote. Okay? Now you're still going to need your remotes for all of these, okay? Because, you know, for instance, the DVD player, you can turn on the DVD player, but you still got to get up and go put in a DVD, okay? You can hook up the camcorder, okay? But you got to turn on the camcorder, okay? You can hook up your game console, okay? But you got to turn on the game console. And the same thing with satellite or cable. So, here's what the possible HDMI hookups you can have. You could have multiples of any one of these. Okay, Blu-ray disc player or players, okay, a digital camcorder, digital cameras, Gaming consoles, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox One X, PS3, PS TV, PS4, Wii U, and Nintendo Switch. These are all HDMI output game consoles. You can have an HD DVD player or players. Okay, one might be a regular, one might be a Blu-ray. Okay. Also, legacy computer devices, older analog devices, connections such as SCART, VGA, RCA, etc., by means of a digital to analog converter or AV receiver. So even if you have some old stuff, you can get yourself a digital to analog converter, okay, and you can convert those analog signals from the old games into digital now, HDMI, and send it to your TV. Of course, it's still going to look like crap, those old Atari games and everything, but also you could hook up personal computers. You could have on your 65-inch big screen that you have in the living room or den, whatever, you can have YouTube videos playing, okay? You can have movies playing off your computer. And of course, smartphones. If you have, HDMI smartphones, which pretty much they're all getting to be that nowadays, you can plug in the output of your smartphone, the HDMI in the other end to one of these ports, and the nice thing is you can leave the cables attached. Okay, so when you want to watch it, all you got to do is go plug in your smartphone and then switch it to whatever channels it's on, and then bang, there it is right on your TV up here. Okay. Now these HDMI switcher boxes, remember this is a 4-port switcher, they normally come between 2 and 8 HDMI ports. Okay, I think anything more than 8 and you're dealing too much in the internal electronics of the thing. You saw on this 4-port switcher, it took about 3 seconds to change from one channel to the other, okay? So I'm just thinking with 8 HDMIs, it's going to be too much of a lag. Also, it saves this mess from you, okay? You only have to hook up these cables once. And even if you don't have a physical device attached to the cable, leave it sticking out the front of your console where you have the TV, leave it just sticking out just this far. And when you want to, you can plug in your device if it's a mobile device, or you can leave it plugged in all the time, but you probably want to leave it off so as to not drain the batteries or use electricity. But then still, when you want to watch it, even though you can take this and turn it on, you still got to turn it on. So there are some pros and some cons there. And so, all right, so there you see it. I wish I could have showed you more screens of this and switching it from camera to camera to camera, but I only have the camcorder that will do it. So in my estimation, it took about 2 weeks now to complete this video. Between video 1 and this one, learning all the ropes on how this works, and it's not quite back to the status of the best thing since sliced bread, but it's real close to it. I mean, I really needed this. Now, in the next video that I'm doing in this series, which I'll put a link to up here, when that is completed. Otherwise, until now, it's going to be a YouTube video that YouTube thinks is best for you. That's going to be for gamers, okay? And the object behind that video is the fact that you can have all 4 of your game devices hooked up to this switcher, hooked up to your video card, and it doesn't matter what video capture card you use. Okay, you're going to switch the inputs from one game to another into it. So if you're playing Xbox 360 and you want to play Wii, all you got to do is pick that up, press the button, and as long as it's on, boom, now you got Wii on the screen, and you can play it, and you're recording it. Okay, so I think that'll be a pretty good deal. Plus, it's going to save gamers a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of aggravation, and it's going to make their cable management acceptable rather than just a pile of cables laying behind your computer. Okay, so until the third video, this is John Bell signing off. This is John Bell thanking you for watching reviews. If you see this on Facebook, please like it. If you see it on YouTube, please subscribe. Until the next time, I wish you good luck and good night. May God bless.